opportunity to get back in this week and get some guys back healthy for next week. It's been a grind since the start of August. So these guys have opportunity to step back a little bit this weekend, get away from it for a few days, be back in here on Sunday, ready to go as we start our game week for Kentucky. But overall this week, it's been a good day yesterday, a really good day. Got a lot of young guys, some reps, got an opportunity to go back to basics and focus on fundamentals, and that's kind of our message this week. So
we'll begin with Bob Holt from the Arkansas Democrat Gazette.
Hey, Chad, how you doing?
Hey, Bob.
Hey, we saw Nick Stark was out there, practicing the black jersey. Just wondering, how's his health? Is he 100%, or will he be 100% by the time you guys play Kentucky?
Yeah, Nick was back out there yesterday. Had gained all the strength back in his arm or in his hand, and he worked out all day through, and would nothing lead me to believe that he wouldn't be back 100% ready to go for next week.
And we saw several veteran guys, Clary, Agim, but I could probably name 8 or 10 that weren't practicing or maybe weren't out there. Was that just more to give those guys a break in an open day? Or I guess what was the thought process behind that?
No. With Sosa was his knee, and with Ty he was going through some concussion protocol, and so those were in yellow. We had guys in green. Yesterday, some of our high rep guys, C.J. O'Grady, Rakeem Boyd, were in green with just some nagging injuries from just the wear and tear. And green means you're in full practice outside of any main good-on-good contact period where we don't want those guys getting hit. But they were in practice. There was probably a few more guys in green yesterday, but it was good to get Zach Williams back into a green jersey and get him going. We anticipate him being back. Mike Woods is dealing with a hip, so he was in yellow yesterday. Trey Knox remained in yellow yesterday, but we anticipate both of those guys being back, ready to go. Davion Warren was back into green as well. So, it was more of making sure that we get a chance this week to get our guys back healthy and as fresh and ready for this for this next run that we got.
Next is Sam Bloom of the Dallas Morning News.
Hey, Chad, I'm curious, when you look at what SMU's done to start this season, when you were there, did you think that having a ranked team there would even be possible?
Well, when I got there, the circumstances were a little bit different than, we took over a program that was 0-11 and won the last game after we got hired. I felt, as I mentioned, as they hired me, that it was going to be a 5-year flip. And we were recruiting kids and selling a vision. We couldn't sell success there. We could sell previous success at other stops. We had to sell a vision. And that's what we did. And we went to work and we recruited, and it's great to see those kids really that bought into that vision, having the success they're having, and obviously their staff is doing a tremendous job, and give those guys credit. But those kids came there when there was nothing there, and they're obviously going to leave a place better than they got it.
And just kind of going off of that a little bit, and it seems like you kind of touched on it, but do you feel like that you and your staff kind of deserve some credit for where the program is now, given that you took over a bad team, and also a lot of the guys that are doing well now, were players that you brought in?
No, excuse me. No, that's not what. No, I don't want any of that. I'm just excited for those players that bought into the vision and the direction that we had for that program when we were recruiting them, and because that's all they had to go on. I want to give the staff credit; they're doing a tremendous job. But I'm very, very proud to see that those young men are having great success. It's very well deserving for those young men in that program.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next is Nate Allen.
Chad, what's Case Hayden's status during open week into the Kentucky game?
Chase was still having concussions, still having headaches, I should say, and was in yellow yesterday. So we'll reevaluate him after he gets symptom free.
Also, just as far as frame of mind, how do you feel it's coming off kind of the close no cigar with that A&M going into the Kentucky game?
Well, not into moral victories, as I mentioned in our press conference afterwards. I thought our guys played really, really well, played really hard. It's probably overall, after watching the film and grading the film, I thought for four quarters we played extremely well. We've got to replicate that performance each week. That is now the standard. And as I mentioned before, we got to go back now, as I did a week ago, and talk about why we performed like we did against San Jose State. It's why did we perform like we performed against A&M, and with an opportunity to win the game and had our chances. We got to find a way to win those games, but there's no moral victories. Matter of fact, the intensity level turned up this week even more, continues to turn up, and we've got some young guys that got to come on, and we've got to clean up some self-inflicted wounds. It's costly for us, and that comes with age and experience, and we've got to continue to demand that out of these guys. They got to grow up quick.
Next is Pete Roulier of 24/7 Sports.
Plays against A&M. Seemed like a go-to receiver.
Hey, Pete, can you back up and start over, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Coach Treylon Burks had a great game on Saturday. Seemed like a go-to guy. For a freshman, is that pretty impressive?
Well, we've got a lot of freshmen on that field that are contributing, and to play in the SEC and on a stage like that, I think for all freshmen, it's that's something that in a program you really you don't want, but it's great times. The future for those young men in the program is bright, especially when you can see the performance. And Treylon Burks is no different. I thought that his performance Saturday was what he's done since he's been here. He's been that type of guy, and the catches that he made, I think he's got an incredible future ahead of him. And just being a freshman and being able to make those plays is very impressive. But we also got to clean up some of the mistakes that they're making too, and that he's making, and that'll come. That'll come with time. But yes.
And on a punt return, it seems like it's a little unusual that he goes and gets the ball at the top of the arc. Is that just something that's more comfortable for him?
Yeah, it's he's been very consistent in how he catches punts, and that's one of those deals you got to be careful over coaching.
Thanks, Coach.
Next is Tom Murphy of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey, Chad, I'm wondering what the mix of this week looks like in terms of how much good-on-good work you do, how much live tackling you do, how much Kentucky prep are you introducing, and then also recruiting. What all you got on tap this week?
Well, yes to everything right there, and a lot of it. We did do, a lot more good-on-good yesterday. We picked and choose when we wanted to live tackle yesterday with especially some of our high rep guys. Our younger guys, there was a substantial amount of time toward the end of practice that it was a full-on live tackle scrimmage. And I say scrimmage, it was opportunities to go good on good with a bunch of those guys. So yes, a lot to that. Kentucky prep is in full force. Getting a plan together, getting our guys to understand the plan and be able to play at a high level. And it's about how we play. It's not who we play, and that's been my message and will continue to be my message. And as far as recruiting, it never ends. Tom, I know you know that. Been around me enough to understand that. It never ends. In an open week, it actually amps up even more. And so the evaluation process coach's plan for getting out on the road this week, being in games and being in schools all day Friday and Saturday, is very much got a great plan in place, and that includes me being out and about Friday night in games.
All right. And evaluation of your offense, where you are right now. What do you need to do to be better, to be more productive in scoring?
Well, I think one, when we get down in the red zone, we've got to make great decisions. We got to be able to come away with points. That's number one. Number two, we got to continue to execute. I thought we executed extremely well the other night, and we missed a few opportunities, but overall execution I thought was much better. It we saw flashes for 4 quarters. What we saw in the fourth quarter of the Colorado State game, and that's something we're gonna continue to build on. But we gotta clean up some of the mistakes of on the ball, off the ball. And again, that's going to come. It comes with time, and but those are the things we got to. Those self-inflicted wounds that kill drives. That's what we got to correct.
Okay. Hey, and just real quick on Sosa, what's the outlook for him? Is he? You think he'll be available this week, or next week?
I anticipate Sosa being back, ready to go for next Saturday night. Anticipating back in practice, possibly Thursday, maybe today a little, but we'll see. We'll see how he feels, and then getting back in for next week.
Okay, thanks, Chad.
Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Probably a good time for us and our team to have a bye. We have some players that need a little extra time to get healed up, and hopefully that'll hit the reset button for us a little bit. We have to continue to build on the good things that we're doing, improve in some areas, and we have to heal up this week, and then also try to get ahead for Arkansas in 2 weeks. So that's the plan here for the open week.
First up, we have Bob Holt of the Arkansas Democrat Gazette.
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, Bob. How you doing, buddy?
Okay, I got an open day too.
Good for you.
Yes, Sawyer Smith. I know he's kind of banged up, and obviously they lost Wilson already. What's your quarterback situation right now? Do you have a sense for who you're going to start, or is it pretty up in the air? What's the situation with your quarterbacks?
Yeah, I think it's up in the air. If you watched us last week, you know that we ended up playing Lynn Bowden there at quarterback at the end of the game, and Sawyer has been battling through some injuries for a couple weeks, and that got aggravated again this past Saturday. And so we have Lynn Bowden, and then we also have Walker Wood taking reps at quarterback here this week. We do anticipate and hope that Sawyer will be back in action here next week, ready to play against Arkansas.
Well, if Lynn's the guy, or maybe you have an expanded package for him. I know he's a great receiver and return guy, and looked like he played pretty well on quarterback against Carolina there late in the game. What kind of dynamic athlete is he for you?
Well, he is that, and he played a lot of quarterback in high school, so he's used to having the ball in his hands. He can throw the ball. The thing about Lynn is what makes it nice for us and our coaches is that Lynn's a very bright guy. Can pick up things very easily. Obviously, the fundamentals of the quarterback position, he's going to do it with athleticism alone for the most part. But he is good with his reads, with the run game, with the run pass options and things of that nature, and just with the give or pull reads in the run game. He's very good, and he's done it before, and so that comes natural to him as far as being an athletic, his athletic ability. I think that's big for itself. Very athletic when he gets on the perimeter and can make things happen when he has the ball in his hands, that's for sure.
David Pascal, shot every time to be fresh.
Mark, just kind of curious when you get a chance to kind of catch your breath. You're coming off a 10-win season, but you're also coming off a month where a lot didn't go right as far as injuries and stuff like that. What is just kind of the mental state of the team right now, having gone through last season and having gone through this season's start?
Yeah, I think, it's definitely a challenge. I don't think there's any doubt about that. We had high expectations for this season, and, things have gone the way they have, but I've been very proud of our team, and the guys are very determined to get things fixed, and that's the mentality of this team, to kind of fight our way out of this. It's been a tough month. I think this is a good time for us, just the way we were playing, and being banged up at certain spots. I think that is a good time for us. We're very inexperienced on defense, so we could take this week and get back to the fundamentals and look at the things that we did through the first 5 games, and again build on the good things we're doing, but also improve in the areas that we need to improve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Josh Kendall of The Athletic.
Mark, if I could rewind to Saturday and ask you about Javon Kinlaw, number 3 for South Carolina. What makes that guy so difficult to prepare for and play against?
Well, he's just a fantastic player. He's one of those guys that you have a tendency to see throughout the SEC, those game records up front, and but Javon has such great size. He is put together. I tell you, just watching him in warm-ups and all that. I mean, he's a good-looking guy, that's for sure, but very explosive. Yeah. Very, very explosive. He has that great size and length that you like up front. So he causes a lot of problems. Very good player.
He didn't. I think he had 1 tackle against you guys, but it seemed like he affected the game. Was that your experience as well, watching him tape again?
Yeah, there's no doubt. He has an effect each and every play. You got to be very conscious of him. Just with the push up the middle, and they did a nice job in general, South Carolina, of affecting the quarterback, that's for sure. With the pressure and with the push, in the pocket.
Do you remember in your preparation if Javon popped more than he did last year, even because internally they feel like he's taken a step forward, a big step forward?
Well, I think we've always had respect for him and knew he was a great player, but I think it's fair to say this year you could see him making a big jump, maybe very similar to what we had in Josh Allen a year ago as well.
Okay.
Yep.
Next is Wilson. Sorry, Josh. Next is Wilson Alexander, The Advocate.
Mark, during your career, what have been the most effective ways that you've seen strength coaches energize players on game day, keep their energy high, whether it was funny, unusual, or just that really worked?
I just think it's a constant with those guys kind of have the pulse of your team, and they kind of set the tone with the discipline, and they set the tone with the energy, and so I just think that's very important. And those guys, like I said, they're kind of set they have the pulse of your team because they're around them all the time, and they see them just about every day, and so those guys, you need them to have a positive effect on your team.
What are some of the specifics that your coaches do on game day for your players?
Just again, I think just set the tone, just with the attitude of, what they do is they go in and they right away after guys gets taped and gets dressed, they interact with them the entire time before, just prior to kickoff. So they individually stretch guys. They kind of set the tone with some guys going on the field real early and just kind of jog it and loosen it up, and then they start with letting know what time the returners are going out, what time the quarterbacks and centers are going out, what time the receivers are going out, and so on. They kind of are constantly in that locker room setting the tone before the game.
Thank you.
Coach, thank you for your time.
Appreciate it. Take care.